Hey y'all, it's Steve, Hobo with Wood, coming at you with another video. This time we're going to be designing earrings using LightBurn, creating a design that we can engrave or cut with our diode lasers. I'm using the xTool D1. Any diode laser is going to, or it doesn't even have to be diode, any laser is going to do fine with this. So, for all of you regular viewers and have already subscribed to the channel, thank you. For those who are first time viewers or you just haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscription button, please, and thank you. Hit that notification bell for future videos. We're going to be using a lot of tools in this video that I've gone over in previous videos. So if you see something that you haven't used before or you're not that familiar with, I'm not using a tool in this video that I haven't already gone over in some pretty good detail in previous videos. If you can't find them or if you have specific questions, put them in the comments. I'll be glad to respond. Right now, with a limited subscriber list, it's not hard for me to try and get to everyone. But hopefully I'm going to blow up so big we ain't going to be able to address them all. But right now, I can get back to you. So, regular guys, thank you for watching. And let's jump in here to LightBurn and start designing some earrings. All right, so these two earrings I've got in the background. In fact, pull that back up full screen. These two here are done in walnut with maple inlays. And these were the first inlay attempts I've done with earrings. One of them's a little better than the other. And I'm really working out the fine details and getting the kerf figured out so that I can get a really super tight fit with that inlay. And that's going to be on the next video I create. Inlays with the earrings, the ones up above the Halloween theme done in black acrylic. So this design we're going to create today, you can cut in just about any material. We're going to work on the basic shape of the teardrop, and we're going to need a couple of tool paths. So if we go to our tool path, we need a rectangle, and we're working in inches at this point. They're unlocked. We need our width of 1 1/4 by 2 inches. 1 1/4 by 2 inch there. Now I'm going to need a hoop. So I'm going to need 2 circles. First, I'm going to draw a basic circle. This is in millimeters. I need 7 millimeter hoop, and it needs to be locked. 7 millimeter circle. Let's zoom into that. And now go to my offset tool. And that's right, 0.8, because I've used this previously. I'm doing an inward offset of 0.8 millimeters. That is the thickness of the hoop rings that I'm using for the hardware. So, okay, now I'm going to select those two and group them. That's going to be a tool that we'll use later to determine the position of the hole that we need for the earring, the hardware. All right. So now, let's start our design. It's going to be on, I don't want to put that on cut path. Put that back on the tool path. Select our cut path, and select our circle, and we are going to draw a 1 1/4 inch circle. Select inches, there we go. 1.25, it's locked, so the dimensions not tab. There we go. There we go. All right, now with that selected, select Shift and select your tool path. Tell it to align center and align to the bottom. So there's the base of our teardrop. Now, how do we elongate and create that teardrop shape? Well, we do it with node edit, but the circle is a shape, and if we go to node edit, there aren't any nodes. There's no nodes for us to edit. So first thing we have to do, select our circle, come to edit, convert to a path. Once you've converted to a path and go to node edit, now you can see your nodes. We need to select this top center node and just drag it straight up, click and drag straight up till we get to our top center of our tool path. And now we have a teardrop shape. Now we need a hole in the top of our teardrop in order to put our jump ring through to attach our hardware. and I'm using a 7mm hole or 7mm jump ring, and the thickness of that hoop is 0.8 millimeters. So I double that to 1.6. So I draw a circle, and I'm in millimeters, and I tell it I want it unlocked so I can put it in right. 1.6 and 1.6. All right, now I take that, hold my shift key, select my teardrop and cut it to a line center. And then I need to figure out the proper placement, and that looks pretty good by just pure luck. But I need to have this placed in the optimum position to have the most amount of material left around the top so that we have a good strong earring and it's not prone to breaking once it's caught in the hair. And the way I do that, this tool that we created a minute ago, I bring it over here and I put it on that center line of that top toolpath in the center position of the earring. And once I've got that positioned, I select my hole for that ring, zoom in, and I take it right above that hoop, like so. Now, zoom out. That gives me the most I can have, most material, because you take this circle on up, not that far up, if you take it up to there, that hoop's going to work. But that earring is now so thin that it's going to be prone to breaking. So you want to get as much material as you can left there for your hoop. So there we go. That's centered. That works. Now what we need to do is make sure that that circle is centered in our earring. I'm done with the hoop. That toolpath can go bye-bye. Just select that circle, hold your shift key, select your earring again until it's line center. Now that is the perfect position for that hole for your hoop. Now depending on the hoops you use and the thickness, you may have to change the positioning and the settings, but that's where you'll need to do your own math with what you purchase. Like I said, I'm using a 7mm jump ring with a diameter thickness of a 0.8 millimeters. So we're actually done with this toolpath too, so we can select it and tell it to go bye. And if we zoom out, just that shape, there's your basic shape for a teardrop earring. Now I'm going to zoom out, select everything, and group those together. Now you can actually take that shape and go on your own and start putting in your designs, your shapes, your engravings. But if you do, you're going to miss out on some pretty ingenious design work here. I haven't made one of these yet, but I think it's going to look awesome. I've seen some similar type designs on Etsy and said, I can do that, and I can. And now after watching this video, you can too. So let's zoom over here to some clean workspace and draw us another circle and tell it we're going to, I'm just like using that 1.25, and we're going to go to inches. 1.25, 1.25. Now we got a perfect circle that would fill the bottom of that earring. But we're not going to use just that. We're going to use this along with our array tool and create a geometric shape. So with that selected, we've got 1¼ inch perfect diameter. We are going, not diameter, but circumference. Control D, duplicate that. With that selected, move it off to the side. Control D, move that up, and Control D. Actually, you know what? I just realized I forgot something. Scratch those three. Come back to this one. First, we need to do an inward offset. So select our offset tool, and we need to come inward, round, and we want to do 1/4 inch. So that would be 0.0625. All right. Now, select those and group those. Now, with those grouped, now Control D, move it to the side, Control D, up, and Control D, and down. Now we're going to align all these to a center point. So I'm going to come here and grab the center of that, bring it over to here. Come on, there we go. Now I want to make sure that they are on the same vertical plane. So select them both, tell them to line bottom. Now they're definitely lined up. Now come to this one, and I'm going to grab it and bring it to here, and grab this one and grab it, bring it to there. Now select, make sure that they are vertical center. Very good. All right. Now that we got those grouped. No, we don't have them grouped. Those are 4 individual shapes. But we do need to select them. We don't need to group them, that we need to select all 4 of them. Then come over to our circular array tool. Now with our circular array, nope, we do need to group them. Select them all and group them. Now go to your circular array. There's better. We could have got there the other way, but this way is just faster. So select all 4 of the circles, group them, go to your array tool, and now you can create all these different geometric shapes using your array tool. Now, those are 1/4 inch widths of those rings, so we can't make too many of them, or else now we're going to just have a whole bunch of nothing. So I liked that group of 3 copies. Now on my circular array, I'm using use the last selected object position as center, and that's why it's important that you group all of them first, then start this array, because it will start to rotate these off of that group's center. And if you haven't selected them all as one group, if you didn't group them all, it's going to create the array, but it's going to start rotating them around the last object you selected. So group all of them, then start your array. Make sure you have this checked, rotate objects from center. And since we're not using any text, this one is irrelevant in this particular instance. So recapping, if you've got these individuals, as soon as you've got them all created and you've got them positioned correctly, select them all, group them all, then come over to your circular array, and you're ready to start creating your copies. Now, I like that just as it is with 3 copies, so we're going to say OK. But that is 3 copies of the same original group. So if we go in tighter, you'll notice all the circles aren't selected. In fact, if we come over to this one that's not selected and select it, now it's only going to select the other 4. Well, we now do not want to group them. We want to zoom out, but we need to select all of them. My mouse is horrible. I keep saying that. I'm going to buy one. All right, so now selecting all of those 3 groups of 4, everything is selected. We come over to our weld tool, because see, right now we've got all these bisecting and intersecting lines, and we need to get rid of those. And we do that by selecting the 3 groups of 4 and then come over here to weld just underneath the offset tool and click weld. Now all of the intersecting and bisecting lines are gone. We have one solid geometric shape, and that's pretty cool. So if we select that, we tell it lock its dimensions, and we're going to take it back down to our 1.25 and select our earring and tell it to align to the bottom and align to the center. And go look at that. It's pretty cool looking. But there's a problem with this. You cannot cut it out like that, because that outer perimeter of that geometric shape, when it's cuts, as it gets over here to this side, it's right up against the outside of the earring, and everything is just, and the inside is just going to fall away. You got two choices. You can take and select that and drag it up slightly, but you're still going to be on the, actually you got one choice. Come and hold your control key and just shrink her down. And now you can get that entire design into the base of that earring. But that's not what I'm after. I'm after something a little different. I want to keep that design as big as possible. So I'm going to take it back to the 1.24 or 1.25, to a line center and a line bottom. Now with that selected, I'm going to ungroup that entire geometric shape and then select just that outer line and delete. Now you've got that entire size, the original dimensions, and you have a nice perimeter around the base of it. It's centered around the base, nice and even. That fits better, I think, than just shrinking it down. That's ready to be cut. But there is a problem. Not a problem, but something that if you're not careful, we ungrouped all these, and so if you accidentally grabbed one and moved it, well, you got an undo tool, but now all those are individual pieces. I'm going to show you a shortcut on how to fix that. Remember, if we grouped the outer shape and this earlier, so it's all on one path. So temporarily put it on another path. Make sure she's on line so we don't lose everything or is hidden everything. Now, if you select any one of those on the cut path, the red O2 path, then come up here to your edit tools, come down here, select all shapes in current cut layer. You don't have to draw squares around and rectangles around those or go in and select them all. Select one, edit, select all shapes on that current layer. Now you've got them all. Now just tell it to group. Now those are grouped together. You can now come back to here, put this back on the cut layer. And now if you decided to group the both of them, everything is intact. And now if you needed to, you can hit ungroup, but the geometric shape is still grouped and you can move it out of the way while you do whatever changes you need to do. But that, boys and girls, was a quick, easy, and I think going to be a pretty neat design. That's something I'm going to cut out today and cross my fingers that we have a nice project. But that's something I see selling on Etsy for $20 for a set. You can do it yourself if you've got the proper equipment and have fun making designs and create your own arrays, do your own designs. Instead of using circles, use that same technique, but with a triangle. Create the triangle, then create the offset inner triangle, duplicate it 2 or 3 times, create them, lay them out in whatever pattern you want, create the array, then bring it in. Instead of a circular geometric shape, you end up with something that's completely and totally abstract. In fact, let me come here to my art library, and we're going to save this into my import project, and this one's going to be GO2. Okay. And now I'm going to get rid of it so I can show you some other things I'm working on here. That's GO2 because this was GO1, add to project. Now, this isn't any cuts. This is just using the geometric shapes. Instead of doing the offset, I created an array using a single circle. As you can see, that's just a single circle there, and there's the single circle. But if you've watched the demonstration on array tools the other day, if not, go back into my playlist, find it. What's neat here is we take this, we go to our cut layers and change that blue to a fill. Now that's an engrave. That's a pretty cool looking engrave. Puts me in mind of some of the Native American shapes I've seen. But that's going to be also a cool design. But there again, I'm working with circles. let's get rid of this and show you what happens when you work with angles. Go to the art library. Okay, so that particular library wasn't loaded. I had to load it. But these are my geometric shapes I've been working with. This shape I thought turned out pretty cool. And that was done with triangles as far as the outer lines. If we go to the cut layers, tell it from a line to a fill. Now that looked really cool. I inserted this, that originally that was the design there that was created with the array using triangles. Left that big black in the middle, and I thought that's perfect. I created the 10-sided shape, what is it, tetragon or something? I don't, but and then put that here in the middle, so then that could be used for an initial, a monogram, or character, whatever you wanted to. Back in the center. There we go. That was a triangular array. So don't work just with circles. Use various shapes. Use squares, circles. The shape tool, remember, was in a previous video. If you don't have haven't seen that video, go watch it. If you still have questions, hit me up. I'll be glad to help you out. So this has been a little fun for me, designing a new geometric shape to implement in a design on an earring. I hope you found it fun and informative. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and look for more fun with Hobo. Okay, so it's a day or so later, and I've got those finished. I really like those geometric shapes, and got those displayed on one of the cards. I cut out a cardstock. So I think that design is a A+. And to give you an idea on the size, there we go for comparison. They're not huge. They're 1 1/4 by 2 inches tall. And I think they look really nice. Now, as a teaser, for the next video, I'll be showing you how I did the little turtles. And those turtles are engraved, these turtles are not. But these turtles and these turtles are actually waste material. And I don't mean I made them out of waste. They are waste. What do you mean? I'll show you. They're the waste from this. So those are inlays. That's maple inlaid in walnut. And what I did was, whenever I cut out that to create the hole for the inlay, I went ahead and cut another hole in the head of the turtle and decided to make another pair of earrings. So I got 2 for 1. So I'm not sure which one I like better, the engraving or just a little plain silhouette, or the inlays. But that's in the next video. So if you want to learn about inlays, be sure hit that notification bell and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.